BNK, having blue side for game 1 could be very advantageous.
And the drafts have been a very big talking point. And I think we can also draw it a little bit wider than just between the two of these teams. I think the reason why BNK won the last series was because of their draft against DK. They had a couple of extremely well organized plans in place for a team that has been a little bit predictable in drafting, right? We saw the Morgana, to me, was the peak example. But it's no different than what Humble Life did against T1. I think even the players, if I remember correctly, was Zayas talking about this, like, we knew what they were going to pick, and especially in Fearless, it's so easy to then have a specific setup prepared for that, and then go from there, and it allows you to take momentum. Normally, in a non-Fearless series, you just ban that champion the next go, and then you could go back. Doesn't quite work that, as neither of these two teams, again, a reminder, will have a shot at winning LCK. That might seem like a long shot. I'm trying to think if we've had any equivalent crazy business happening in the LCK domestically. I can't think of it, but that doesn't mean it can't happen, Valdez. We can dream!
We can dream. Generally, it's gauntlet runs in the old format with the regional qualifiers.
Yeah, the regional, which...
That was generally where all the crazy stuff happened. As, by the way, we are threatening a Rumble first pick, and if they don't ban Rumble, then Raptor will play Pantheon. So, they're just going to ban Pantheon. Say, go ahead, Clear. Play Rumble if that's what you want. Obviously, there's still a lot of strong stuff left, as it's game 1, nothing's Fearless banned, but banning Ornn on blue side is very easy to read.
Yeah, Aurora as well. I'm saying Yunara because I do expect Yunara will be behind the prior list, but yeah, the Aurora should also not come as a surprise. If you're going to lock this in, this is, I think, Clear his best pick. Should come as no shock to DK that it does come through. We'll get locked in here. There are a couple of answers that Shu can go towards. The Mbessa is one that he's often leaned on into these type of matchups, especially because I think Rumble always strong, but not quite as oppressive in lane as he used to be, like a couple of patches ago where it felt like he just auto-won every single matchup. Then there is also the question of AD carry, because as mentioned, I do think there are a lot of extremely strong AD carries still open, and there is the Shiyu Mbessa. Is a very highway pick, so both teams not really trying to save anything, immediately going to some of the picks they are most known for. We've seen Jarvan really rise in priority, but I do think that picking that up early isn't necessarily the best. So I imagine Yunara is the next talking point here. As, yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Don't want to give Yunara and Rumble over. That would be kind of crazy. Talia, still available. Could be played by Vikla. It hasn't been his MO. He could just play any with this and try to just go all in onto the Yunara and handle it that way. As Corki has also been very high prio here.
Corki,
so
Nico.
Picked up for... Oh yeah, Nico's still available too.
That's close to as good as it gets when it comes to early laning power in the current meta. Very tough lane to deal with will be the setup here. So Beryl now most likely just going to pick, and this is something I actually want to talk about. For me, BNK was one of the teams that started doing this in this play-in/playoffs bracket, is that they really heavily prioritized bot lanes. A lot of teams were drafting a very topside focus, and then you'll get some bans, and then the second rotation would be exclusively the bot lanes. But I think they were one of the first teams to actually be like, no, we are locking a good matchup for a bot lane every single time. As the Jarvan, to me, so there's a lot of layers to this. Orianna's already taken away. That would be normally one of the picks we'd kind of associate with this. I do think Jarvan and Mbessa are a great duo. I don't love Jarvan into Corki, though. Corki is one of the AD carries that does have a really easy way to get out of the Cataclysm. That is where a lot of the value from the pick does come from. But Lucid has been really good on the Jarvan. I think it's been one of his most consistent picks. And it does set up a very dive-heavy setup here, which I think DK generally kind of plays towards. And honestly, so do BNK.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be butting heads here. The Poppy could have gotten a lot of value. The Lulu alongside of the Yunara could have been big value. Think about the Lulu and the Jarvan, the Lulu and the Mbessa for engage, but also just for safety for your Yunara. So I think that's a pretty nice ban. Will they ban the Annie away from Vikla? Another thing I was curious about, but no, it's just going to be targets against Raptor. They say, Vikla, you play what you want, buddy. We're going to care about Raptor here. I think that's a fair shout.
Well, for DK, they can also go for the counter pick here. One of the big things that BNK did use against DK in the previous series, which again, I want to give them a lot of credit for, is making sure Vikla had good counter matchups that allowed him to both mitigate laning phase, and then also empower the rest of his team, right? But also get a good matchup in the Showmaker. So we're going to see Barrels pick up here, and then that gives Showmaker the opportunity to counterpick against Vikla, taking away one of the tools that BNK used before. Now, when it comes to pure power picks, I do still think that BNK kind of have the edge. I think the laning phase of bot is looking really good, although we'll see what Barrel picks up here. Could just go towards, like, Rel, and just kind of accept that the laning phase is going to be very unfun, which wouldn't shock me. But the Nico Rumble is just such a strong combo. No matter the game state, it's going to be Alistar instead. Alistar, I think, would have a better time into the Nico because you're actually able to peel a lot better than the Rel would. But Bard is, with Bard on Barrel, we've said a lot of words. I'm sure we'll say a lot of words in this game as well.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about this one, to be honest. I think maybe you should have just gone for the Alistar and just accepted it. So the Annie seemed very obvious from the get-go here for our boy in the mid lane, as it's going to be first game Qiyana jungle. So, yes, there was a lot banned, but this hasn't been winning.
So Qiyana Rumble is a classic combo. Like, this is one of the combos we used to see picked all the time whenever Qiyana jungle was meta. It is extremely strong. You can layer the equalizer together with the supreme display of talent. Absolutely disgusting level of power that's available there. My main issue with this, and this is something that I think goes for a lot of teams, is that even if Raptor is able to play this well, and I think Qiyana does have a really high barrier of entry, it's a very mechanical champion, is it really Raptor carry that you want with this team? Because Qiyana, to me, isn't the type of jungler. Your early ganks are okay, right? You do have the root with the right element, but it's not that great. I don't think he compares to a lot of the other picks we've seen him play, where he is able to have a really great impact early in the bot lane. Now, you still have a good bot lane matchup. I still think that the Nico and Corki are going to do fine. But following the game plan that BNK have shown, I think that they are gravitating a lot more towards the team as a whole, and particularly those early skirmishes. Like the 6 spikes for BNK, I think are miles ahead of where DK is. But DK, if we get to the mid to late game in teamfight stages, the 5v5 for them, I think, is insanely powerful.
Yeah, it definitely is. I like the Qiyana into the Jarvan, as well as we have Nocturne Gale here, a Spanish team from Nexus League, joining us. Thanks for coming down, everybody. Looks like they've got a lot of different people here on their road to Seoul. I saw their tweet. Pretty cool stuff. I hope they do enjoy Korea. Shout-outs to them. And enjoy the Korean ladder as well, because that's always a joy. We'll see how it goes for them, and we'll see how it goes here on the Rift with these two compositions butting heads. Showmaker pulling out the Rise here for game number 1, hoping to be another carry alongside of this Unara. As we're ready, let's hop into the Rift for game number 1.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Alrighty, game number 1 here in the lower bracket, round 1 of these playoffs. We mentioned it before, but it's best of 5s the whole way through, and if you win, you're on to the next round. If you lose, you're out, and your season is over. You will not qualify for Worlds. You will not make it onto the next rung here in the playoffs and have a chance to fight at Inspire Arena.
Yeah,
you're just gone.
It'll be
That's
fun.
it.
If you win, you get to face T1. And then if you beat them, you get to face Gen G. And then if you beat them, you get to face the winner of KT. I really, we shouldn't waste too many words on it, but the fact that it's KT Hanwha upper bracket, I love that. That's crazy, fellas. We were all, if we didn't do a Puckstate episode this time, but if we'd done a playoffs one, you know what it would have been. It would have been T1 Gen G into T1 Gen G.
Yeah.
But here we are, and for both of these teams, currently, as of the start of this day, there is still the opportunity to make a run. And unfortunately, by the end of today, one of these two teams will no longer have that opportunity, as looking at the rune setups, not really seeing anything too surprising. Here, we've seen a decent amount of different setups on the Qiyana, really going either for Conqueror or for the Electrocute. For BNK, I think you just want to fully send it, right? This is just a composition that is always, I think, going to be playing very aggressive and has to be the one that starts off any fight. but then also it's BNK, and that's just it's kind of what they do no matter what.
Yeah. If BNK win game 1, I think we'd all be very surprised just because DK are the game 1 winners. That's what they do in best of 3s, best of 5s. Would just be pretty surprising, but I'm a big fan of what they've drafted as long as Raptor can actually show us the power of Qiyana, because it's getting drafted a lot everywhere. We've had it drafted here 3 times. It's lost every time. I just want to see, I want to have people notice, like, hey, this is actually a good champ and not just being a bait pick, at least as it has been at the LCK.
You also, I don't think you get games that are a lot better when it comes to the setup that you have available. Because, so there was Rumble that plays off of you, but there is Annie, there is Nico, and there is just, in general, so much upfront burst. I think that Raptor definitely has an opportunity. And we have actually, I talk about the Qiyana, right? But we've actually seen him carry games as well with the Neferi, another AD assassin. That was a counter pick that they also used really, really well into the Vi Ahri, which, to the surprise of no one, was heavily prioritized by DK. His bot lane, though, without intervention of Raptor, who was pathed from bot to top, has been struggling a little bit. As we'll see, Lucid might be looking for a little wraparound here, but there's a ward in the Tribe Rush, so doesn't look like anything is going to come of it, as Showmaker should be fine here.
Yeah, and Lucid stopped his back and actually came to mid lane. Flash on in for the Rue. Raptor in a bunch of trouble, but this is Qiyana, so he just, you know, double dashes away, and now it's Showmaker without his flash.
Big investment there from Showmaker, and not panning out, really, I'd say, whatsoever. Raptor living there is a big deal. I don't know if, I don't think he got cancelled. I think he is just looking for a possible wraparound, but he will get spotted here.
Does he care?
Well, Showmaker doesn't have flash, and it's Qiyana, so, like, he's fine.
Yeah. He is spending a lot of time kind of just running around, so...
No, Lucid also took his Raptors. So, like, this is a really big tempo advantage now for Lucid. Showmaker, though, did also have to give up control of his wave, so he's going to be pushed in. We'll see how much he actually ends up missing. And he's going to base, and he doesn't have TP. So, it's a cannon wave, but Vikla still should be able to build up a nice, sizable CS lead here. But Showmaker did ensure that Lucid wasn't set further behind, and Raptor is going to be behind in experience by a decent amount now, and will be down a longsword.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice early advantage to the jungler of D plus Kia.
No.
So there goes the cannon. It's what you have to give up. A slow push here from Vikla, as he knew, well, it's a cannon wave, and Showmaker, even if he backs, he's not going to miss much. So I'll just sit here and deny as much CS as I possibly can, while also getting all the CS myself. So we do have a swap. Diablo and Kellen have made their way up to the top lane. As I don't feel like Rumble, as you mentioned before, does a very good job of bullying Ambessa that much anymore. So, you know, just getting him down in the bottom lane against the Yunara is just fine. And maybe your 2 ranged bottom laners can make Ambessa's life a little bit harder.
So, Shiva's life's going to be a lot harder, as a case in point.
Yeah, speaking of which.
Yeah, he does have TP still, though.
Yeah.
So, he will be able to make his way back to the lane. And Ambessa is also kind of tough to dive. Rumble's definitely safer, though, especially now that you have access to equalizers. You can just equalize the wave if you are feeling a dive. This also frees up the Bard, so we'll see if DK is able to actually utilize that power. The main thing is that it's going to give access to a free early Drake. Here for Lucid, contest shouldn't really be possible because BNK are a man down. And then the expectation is that they will get grubs. As Tippers does come down and is displeased with Showmaker.
Yeah. Got 4 members of BNK on the top side of the map, but you know, those grubs not spawned yet. And so it's just getting some plates, just hanging around the mid lane, and okay, that's a flash on in. Showmaker in a lot of trouble, goes down. First blood goes to Raptor on the Qiyana, and that's what happens when you don't have your flash.
Even with flash, I think Raptor found a really nice window there because Vikla sets up the CC. There's not really too much you can do about that. But then Raptor does actually follow up, and a snowballing Qiyana could be something that actually turns the tide in favor of BNK here. As
Slurkle, very good and clear, is going to dodge the binding afterwards, but the issue is that he had to stay in range of the Yunara for so long just in order to dodge it. There's that equalizer you were talking about. as Rumble doesn't care about lane swaps if he has his ult.
And a big win. The punish on the misplay from Showmaker earlier. Do want to highlight that this is something that Showmaker, I think, struggled with a lot more in the regular season. Was actually very susceptible to ganks. As Kalin.
This looks kind of obvious, yeah.
Yeah, we see the pings go down. So
Pings still.
Showmaker not falling for that one. With the equalizer taken down, I wouldn't be surprised. And with the swap coming through, DK might actually be playing for double objective here. As we take another look, it's very straightforward. Nicely done there by Raptor. Just with the flash, has enough damage. Showmaker, if he had Mercs, maybe be able to proc the phase rush. Without ult at the start of that play, Raptor maybe wouldn't have been able to kill him. Or if he, again, as Feldas highlighted, had flash. Not going to be the case, but the objective control has been in favor of DK thus far, and with this swap, should also continue. But this is where I think we're really going to see the power of this BNK comp.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely want to fight over this, as one Grub went over to Lucid, and he's just going to have to give up the other two. Although flag is coming down, and Showmaker is going down to the bottom lane. Nice flash here from Clear. Sees the Realm Warp, and he's just like, yeah, never mind. My team is getting Grubs up top, and I'm getting ganked, so I'm just going to run away from this.
So one Grub still taken for DK. I think this is one of those situations where both teams are like, it's fine, 2 Grubs for BNK, but they did give up Dragon. And the flash is also forced for Clear. So the Rumble does need to play a lot more safe. And Jarvan being on the field, I think, does really impact the value of flash for any member that can't easily get out of the Cataclysm. So that does mean that we will be seeing Lucid maybe pay attention, a quick visit towards that bot lane, as we still have held on to these lane swaps. The lead for Vikla is getting bigger and bigger. They're already built up like 250 gold from the early play. That ended up backfiring for Showmaker. And then the kill meant that he's able to be almost 2 waves up, as well as the assist.
Chovying just a little bit himself. He's playing Annie, so it's very difficult to actually miss the CS if you're paying attention, and if your lane opponent doesn't really do anything to you. So second plate should be going down here momentarily, as here's Raptor, though, going to find Barrel. There's the root into the wall, into the ults. Does he have the damage? Doesn't look like it just yet, although Barrel is going to flash away and just dies anyway. Raptor saying, dude, I'm Kiana. And it doesn't seem like anyone on DK seems to know what this champion does.
Even though they played it themselves, which is interesting.
Oh, nice little sidestep there from Vikla.
Oh, you saw he wanted to go for that, but the Realm Warp isn't there. Showmaker used it to force the flash on bot lane. And it's not going to be enough to completely break the game, because aiming is still able to farm up. But these are very big leads that are being built here for BNK as Lucid.
Oh boy, yeah, just gonna run into 4 people and die. Everybody was backing together. And BNK are playing like a team. DK are not at this point in time.
No, they're really not. And what they're getting on the cross map doesn't really seem to compare. They're getting some plates. That's it, really. In mid, Lucid, I think, looking for the backhand, so instead just gets CC'd and dies. And this is exactly what the BNK comp wants to do. As we take another look here. Barry, you had flash. Could have used it at any point. Decided
well, he did.
Yes. The very end.
He did, yeah.
Raptor obviously not really going to be too bothered by that. And then here, Lucid, also just the way that he pathed, right? If he walks a little bit further up, you get vision, but just tried to round the corner in a way that didn't really hit the mark, giving up a kill for free. Gold lead, thanks to, I think, mostly the fact that Showmaker was able to just shove like 2 waves into mid, because that gold lead in mid is now gone. But there is a 3-0 Kiana, and if you're a BNK fan and you see Raptor being this fat, you're feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the Diablo carry angle. I mean, he still can because he's playing Corki, but this Kiana is out of control, and we haven't really seen a Kiana do anything. Most of the time, it has been totally useless. Like, we've seen Kiana's missing ults and just getting behind and just like kind of doing nothing, right? But this is going to be the exact opposite of what we've seen so far. So I hope you guys are ready to see the true power of this champion.
Well, especially with Annie and Rumble and Nico. There's a lot of power here.
Ocean Soul.
As we do have Ocean Soul, which I guess Ambessa is like, yes. Everyone else, are you gonna live when B&K use their burst? Probably not.
Yeah.
And for B&K, I also think that looking at the way that DK will play a lot of the fights, I think it's fine. But Inferno would have been very different. Mountain, I think, would have been very different. Would have really warped the game. Maybe this will be the one.
Fourth ranged minion comes in as there is the ult stun, and now the Nika follow up the flash, does get the knock up into the root, and Showmaker is just dead again. The kill does go over to Kellen, but he's been trying so hard to make those plays happen. He finally gets one here.
And B&K just keeps going for the same play, and it keeps working. Very straightforward. Get to Vikla's lane, presses his skills on the Showmaker, and Showmaker just ends up going down as well. Now, again, the only answer that DK will get is here in the mid lane, and I think you obviously would have rather had the kill go to the carry as opposed to Nico. But it's still big win there. Yet another play, and B&K are so much more active on the map. And for me, this composition would have been exceptional, even if you're like just even. But they're pulling ahead. As we take another look here, I think that obviously by the time Showmaker realizes it's too late, and the flash after Kellen has already flashed as well, misjudging the distance there and just end up going down anyway. Could have held on to it. Not going to be the case. And we're not really seeing the DK game one that I think we're both kind of expecting come into this first one. But B&K still very sharp. Look like a cohesive unit as Barrel. Look at the wall stun, which means that he lives to fight another day. I was kind of worried that he was just going to get one-tapped very quickly. Yeah.
He has a lot of help there that maybe could have traded back if Raptor fully committed, but as you mentioned, the stun came in, so he didn't really get to see it come to fruition here. Barrel taking huge amount of damage from the Nico, and now he's sticking around. This time, he will flash. As he, you know, he learned from the last play up in the top lane, I suppose. Showmaker definitely struggling. They're just going to sit him in a side lane, but just means that, you know, you got to deal with Clear. He's down a level 2, and the rest of the team is ahead, especially when you consider that Kiana, although Lucid is up a level on Raptor, the farm has been good for Lucid, so he's not massively behind. As here's Shiyu getting bullied on the right side. Raptor in a lot of trouble himself. They're going to get that shutdown on the Yunara of all people, as B&K go a bit too deep in the enemy jungle. The flash follow from the side of Lucid is big, plus the binding comes in, although a bit of a trade comes back here. Diablo trying to make something of it, as he does get the kill onto 2. Alongside of Vikla. As now Kellen, he's still on the run, but eventually he will just die, as they should give this kill over to Shiyu, and it's a big turnaround here for D plus Kia.
And unfortunately, that too is B&K. That jungle overforce is something that I remember them doing once or twice, but that was during the regular season, not during playoffs. I think they've actually been very level-headed, something we praised them for. But we're throwing everything to Ambessa on one end. And then the Kiana ult, I'm pretty sure was on the inside of the Jarvan ult. It was on the inside
of the donut, yeah.
Yeah, so it didn't, it looked cool.
It was very funny.
Yeah, but it didn't quite, even, I gotta say though, even if that hits, like this is probably an even fight, but I have more an issue with just this fight in general, because it feels very unnecessary. You were doing a really good job of controlling the lanes, of applying the pressure. Now there is a legitimate win condition for DK in the form of Shiyu on this Ambessa, who now finally is build lead, and aiming went unchecked for most of that fight, leading to him now also feeling a lot better. And you can see it there on the gold graph. Not enough though. I do still think that DK is gonna have to give up this Rift Herald, and we are seeing some pinks going down as well. I think they're expecting that to get placed towards the top half as, guys, the cannon is there. Is it enough?
Yeah, I mean, Realmorph coming in here as well. Showmaker going to get the aggro on this, as Clear is just doing as much damage as he can, as the Redemption added a little bit of damage. Clear still alive under this turret with basically nothing. The mid lane turret should be going down, and it's only a matter of time until somebody presses a button, but this push in mid is not being responded to very quickly.
But they got top as well. So I think that if you are B&K, probably not feeling too bad, got 2 turrets, will give one up, and the kill did go over to Showmaker, which helps to dig him a little bit out of the hole. And despite the fact that B&K take the 2 turrets, the gold lead is still kind of returned, thanks to the jungle play, to basically even. And this feels a lot more Rise Group, baby, but they did use all their tempo on the mid play, which means that they will be forced, forced to give up this Dragon. There isn't that much damage available here, but I think DK still should be able to get it, because that's Callan. Raptor will get spotted here.
Yeah, a little bit late for the real Kiana. And yeah, so just Ocean Drake over to D plus Kia. It's pretty nice, but not the end of the world. This game, at the end of the day, is very even.
Yes.
It does feel like either team could win from here, as they're trying to get some vision against Vikla, who is going to miss his bear. And Tibbers kind of done dirty by that one.
So, because the funniest part is, as much as
Okay, the root came in right as he pressed his R button. That's not a good look, as now the Cataclysm gets some nice value here. Bard, Tempered Fate, gonna keep them around for Xiu, who is thinking about it, certainly. But it's 5v5 in the bottom lane, and nothing really amounts of it after all of that.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting more. And it's a win for BNK. They got TP, they get Lucid's Flash. So this whole situation started with an attempt to play from Callan, who did have the Flash and the Rocket Belts. Obviously wants to go and try and make these big plays. I think that's warranted. I also think BNK Scope is actually good at jungle fights, because that's where Kiana excels, that's where Rumble excels, these tight corridors where you can't really sprawl out. This one looked a lot better in setup than the previous one, and yet it didn't end up really blossoming into anything. Talking about blossoms, we are still even. Really, should either team think about doing Otacon in this? You know where I'm going with this.
No.
No. Do not do it.
Absolutely not.
No,
please
no,
don't.
Please. Definitely not DK, but also probably not BNK.
Well, I would say if they're ahead and they have a good turn angle, which they should, because their comp does have pretty good turn with the Nico and all the follow-up and the Annie, then sure. But I feel like with the game that's this even,
I don't think
I don't think it's worth.
No.
You know?
No.
You can get yourself into a lot of trouble. But if you were more ahead, if you had like a reasonable tank as well, which they don't really, because they have Kiana in the jungle. As they're going to find Raptor here, by the way. The big zoom out, as there's that ult, and the disengage cone will get Raptor to safety.
Nice Kiana. I would have gotten out anyway, as Feldus set me suspiciously.
Maybe.
Especially with the rest of the team being ready. Is the Flash gone? That is a big cooldown. Flash Kiana ult is one of the least fun things to deal with. She can actually cover a lot of distance between the, you know, coming in from stealth with the grass Q into E, into Flash, into little shenanigans. So not being able to do so is definitely valuable. The more I think about it, like, I think for DK, even if you were 10k gold up, I'm just like, don't do Otacon. It's not, there is choke points, there's corridors, there's walls. Just anything that B&K comp likes. For DK, I think a fight is either find a single target, blow them up, preferably in as wide a space as possible, or as
just start it, you know, just go for the solo kill on the Otacon, that's fine.
Yeah, Kiana also notoriously with great objective damage. Raptor is doing well thus far, but they will spot this going on. And I think they're just looking to get a response. Do note, Xiu doesn't have TP, but neither does Clear. He's here though. Vikla TPing in now.
Yeah, it's just 5v4, and their turn is excellent.
Oh, they're going to give it up.
It's just going to be up to Lucid to try to steal it, but now with the equalizer, he just has to give it away. So a nice play here from the side of B&K, identifying that Xiu did not have his TP, and they just started on up with that extra damage, is now maybe looking for a bit more, or at least trying to save their mid-turret, which they will be successful at doing.
And that is a ton of flowers going over to B&K. They already had a small lead, but now it turned into a big one. And there were, I think, not going for the fight there without Xiu having TP definitely makes sense. This is the price they had to pay for the play earlier, where Xiu TP'd bot. They did get a decent amount of CS, which is why you see the gold lead has now finally swung in favor, but with the stats being given by the Otacon, I don't think that's going to be something that B&K is going to be too worried about. And I'm still looking forward towards that actual 5v5, which I feel like we still haven't really seen yet, as both these teams know as well. Game 1 momentum could be big. The series last time was insanely close. Falling behind early would be definitely a tough one.
Yeah. especially with side selection for B&K, the onus is on you to take the win so that you don't fall behind on the serve, as we call it, you know, the ban pick serve, which is where you can fall behind and then eventually not have side selection towards the end of the best of 5. Raptor kind of just running through the dark here. He's going to find a couple of members as there's the ult, going to throw Shiu away, but he still dies. Meanwhile, Kellen by himself here. He's got Vikla actually, but this is looking very good for the side of Deke plus Kia as one by one they are falling on the side of B&K. 3 of them will go over to DK.
Showmaker wasn't even there.
Yeah, you don't need everybody when they just face check. It's fine.
I guess so. I'm sorry, I need a moment to process this. That was 3 kills. Showmaker was also pushing inside. They're going to get soul point here as well.
Careful, Diablo. Okay, he's just trying to fight him.
Oh, no, I'm not worried about that. That's just Diablo. He has his 2 out of power spike. He's feeling good about that.
Okay.
That's going to be inner. That is a really big swing, Velves. I kind of have a hard time wrapping my head around it. I just don't know how they don't think that DK is going to be in position to contest this. The setup here is really nice as well. So we start up with the Q, which sets up for Shiu. And then there's no way out. Lucid here, by the way, going in as well. I thought at first he was maybe going to go out. Not the case. The rest of the team is ready, but it's really Beryl and Shiu that set this one up just ahead of the play. And for B&K, I think their objective setups were one of the strongest parts when we go back to their previous series. But that is now a sizable gold lead here. Now, for B&K, do note there is still that big wombo combo. A single mistake from DK, which, let's be real, it's Rise Group, baby.
It's Rise Group, baby.
We still have no idea what's about to transpire in this game, but it is going to feel less and less doable as you start losing control. Because I do think for a good wombo combo, unless DK walks face forward into it, which, let's be real, they could, you would need someone to flank, right? Like either Raptor needs to find an angle, you need Kellen to find his way into the back line, Vikla needs to get behind. If you start losing control of lanes early on, I do think that becomes really hard. I don't think DK is quite there yet, though. You can see this as well when you look at the item finishes. Once Shiu finishes Death Dance, though, if they get Ocean Soul and he gets Death Dance, I don't actually think that they can kill him. And that's a pretty big problem.
They have a lot of burst. They have Corki, but I feel like the burst won't do anything. And then if the Corki is hitting the Mbessa for that long, you also have Ryze and Yunara. So it's like, okay, Aiming just gonna run into this one. Thinks he can take the 1v1. He says, I'm Yunara, I'm OP. Flashing in is Diablo, and eventually gets pretty close, but he was going 1v4.
Wait, Vikla, no!
Vikla also going in, as, you know, he's pretty fast with this one. Actually looking pretty good for the side of B&K. The Zhonya's very nice timing here for Vikla. And that's a stun down as Lucid's going in. It's a very broken up fight. The equalizer only on the Lucid as he goes in, and he might be going out into the Death Tamer. Down he goes. Double knockup is here, and Clear is found aiming on the right side. Might be able to take him down. Finally does with that harpoon. As is very much Rise grouping at this point in time.
Oh, you know I was going to yell it. As we'll see, Clear, I think, a little too early. Maybe by the end of it. I think now he does it, Yeah,
well, especially with the shield.
Yeah.
Just making 100% sure. Still going to be very late on the map here.
Yeah, he does a will of TP by the time he's back.
What did they mean by this?
So, well, this is peak Diablo, obviously. Obviously, he has to Valk in here. Aiming needs, like, 4 buddies. Very unfair. Can't believe that he's not taking the 1v1. Does live. And then this is where things get silly. At first, I thought Vikla, I was like, why Flash? You're dead. As it turns out, actually, really nicely done here by Raptor. One taps Barrel. Then Vikla reunites with the rest of his team. This is where things get a little bit silly because DK think they can get the wraparound. So Lucid goes in, but he goes in too early. So he ends up just going down. And then by the time Shiu does arrive, obviously his backline is found. Here we are again.
Just Kellen hanging out. He's going to get caught once again. Meanwhile, we got Shiu in a bit of trouble.
He has Death Dance. He
has Death Dance. He is not going down. And 2 Ocean Drakes, good enough for now. Vikla in a bunch of trouble. He will be fighting the dust as well. Clear by himself up against everyone. And he's just clearing the wave. And so another big play here for D plus Kia, up 6,000 gold.
And it's Diablo by himself, pushing in mid, trying to get anything out of this, but that's going to be Baron, and that Baron is going to lead perfectly into the Ocean Soul as well. And BNK started off strong, but I thought that last play maybe was the signal for a turnaround. Doesn't look like it was the case, as Beryl just finds Kellen. And that was a kind of an awkward angle, because I think even for Kellen, like, where does he actually flash so that he doesn't get hit? Don't know if there really was anything, as Ocean Soul isn't available yet, but it's still level 16 in Bessa with Death's Dance, so Shiu doesn't end up going down. And I think the composition for BNK has kind of run its course. That fight in the blue buff, I think, is really the turning point for the game. After that, it's still been a lot of back and forth, but DK been getting out ahead mostly, and now BNK are going to need an absolute miracle fight. We're talking multi-man, so I'm talking 3-4-man. Kellen, Raptor, Vikla, clear combos with the ultimates to try and make this one work.
Well, DK knows exactly where they are. They're trying to get the stealth and look for Lucid, but they're not quite going to land the stun. And so Lucid gets away, and now that Snow Kiana ult and Shiu is in the backline, they're going to throw everything into this Ambessa, who just turns the fight on its head. Big equalizer, though. Going to get 2 already for BNK. Make it a third! BNK are turning the fight around. Showmaker by himself only has Barrel. And they kind of just ran face first into Clear's Rumble, and they didn't know what to expect. As Barrel should be going down, and it will be an ace. It wasn't clean, but it's a huge win for BNK.
And just like that, the 8.5K gold lead turns into 4. Yet another reminder that in Rise Group, anything is possible if you just believe. So this is the Kiana ult completely whiffs. They throw everything into Shiu, and then here, Barrel's ult, I think, hits the edge of Night, but it's the equalizer, right? That is the big turning point. And the fact that aiming just kind of gets roasted unceremoniously, ends up going down. And that is Ambessa gone, that is Yunara gone, and that is Soul Point denied. A ton of bounty gold going in, and I'm pretty sure that means that, look at that, we're basically even again.
Basically even, yeah. The Yunara did 800 damage, and at the same time, Shiu, he ulted into the fight, which looked good because it was like the front line, they were just going to chop it down. They felt invulnerable, but they all clumped up in one spot for a Rumble to do 1 million damage. And the Corki as well. I mean, Diablo's just sitting there.
Yeah, Diablo is literally as far as away from a KDA player as you can be, because he did die in that fight. But as long as he maximizes that damage output, you know he won't care. As there we go. This is what we want. We need this whole series to be like the 5 games of this. Just a back and forth.
It's only game 1.
Makes 0 sense. We're like 30 minutes. I think I still like DK's position more at this point in the game.
Theoretically,
yes.
On paper.
On paper.
Yeah.
In a theoretical vacuum, you know.
Yeah.
People play to their win cons, because I think more defensive items are going to come through, which is going to make the burst a lot harder, as Vikla might be by himself here.
Yeah, he's just going to try to turn on the Showmaker because he has nowhere to go. The whole team is coming up here, including Redemption, as he will go into his Zhonya's, trying to buy some time, but just kind of dies after the fact. The Showmaker essentially solo, going to take that one down. Nice little binding here onto the clone and the real one. And Kellen is just getting out. They got to deal with Shiu on the side lane, so they're going to have to back away from this play.
Now Shiu might be a little bit overextended. We'll see. I think they could be looking for a collapse here.
It is BNK, so the whole team's just trying to move. Yeah, he's just going to TP. Lots of damage was coming out, but not enough.
Yeah, that's still pretty costly, though. Like, this late in the game, I think TP is a very valuable summoner. We might also get a situation where, like, 2 minutes, one team goes for Baron, the other team goes for Dragon. Which would be another example of who knows what's going to happen.
I don't really want to see that happen.
But we probably will. As here, Vikla, just very far up the lane. Showmaker with the Realm just gets on top. And at this point, Rise has outskilled the Annie, right? There's just no real way that you're losing this. Even without the Redemption, he was looking very healthy, despite Tibbers kind of wailing away at him. But there was no further follow-up kill, which means there was no real possibility for DK to push much further. as Raptor does have Edge of Night. As I actually thought it was proc there, but I guess Barrel...
Nope, just missed.
Yeah.
Okay, they finally got it, actually. The Rise. And Raptor going to take that one down. So blue buff for the team. And yeah, really just don't know what to expect, as we are going to have the Baron spawning here in a minute. Diablo is looking pretty strong. Just picked up a Last Whisper.
Doesn't have his fully finished fourth item yet, though. As yeah, this game has just been about one player on either side seemingly getting caught. There is the TP. The deep flank is going to come through from Clear here.
The bottom lane turret is like gone, but they don't care at all about that. They just want to go for the fight.
This is just Rumble. Like, I don't...
Yeah. Meanwhile, the bottom lane...
They need to... They're canceling the backs.
Yeah.
That's just inhib.
Yeah, the inhib's just gone. So the Gambit does not work.
No shield.
No, that's
as
gone
the
down.
means. Yeah, it's
gone down.
Gone.
Okay.
So that's bot lane inhib gone with Baron in 30 seconds. And Clear TP'd, which was the one advantage they had.
Yeah. They just threw it away. They're like, you know what? That's not fair if we have this advantage. We got to make it even, you know?
Now, Aiming also getting a defensive item, which, good call.
Yeah.
I'm still no closer to knowing who wins this game than I am to figuring out the answers to the universe.
I feel like DK, they have the advantage,
yes.
but B&K have the tempo vibes, if that makes sense.
Oh, I get that. Barrel's
after the last fight, you know?
Barrel, why are you here?
Just gonna find a bunch of members of B&K and die. No explanation required. Just accepts death.
Well, that's going to be definitely Drake, possibly Baron. I do think Baron is always a bit of a risk, but they have so much damage here. DK could just look for the cinema ending, though, because the base is open. And Lucid could look to steal.
It's fine.
They don't really have a great way of keeping Jarvan out of the pitch. Showmaker's just dipping to the base! You're all locked in!
Yeah, but Vickless here, so that's going to be stopped. It's a bit of a 4-on-3. The equalizer, they will have to turn on to Lucid, who just goes in, but it still goes over to Raptor, who lands the smite. Aiming is looking pretty good, and the ult here from Shio is massive. Gets into that back line, and Aiming is doing tons of damage. Will take down Raptor, as Kellen just barely gets away. Vikla is holding on, trying to survive here, and that he will, as he's got some help as well. And, well, they got the Baron.
They did get Baron. They definitely lose Sulk. I think with
hey, 5,000
that
assists.
could not have happened in a more perfect manner.
Congratulations, Sparrow.
That's impeccable. So no one dies on DK. They will be able to push more. It's definitely going to be a negative gold Red Bull Baron power play.
Well, Barrel nearly dies. And actually might still. Heals coming in, and it's actually just a bait.
It was just all planned. It was all planned. It was all planned.
They're solo, actually. Aiming just not paying attention? I don't know. He just dies. Showmaker also just dies. Just standing there. They got rooted, and so it kind of looked silly, but yeah, they had no other choice but to stand there and die.
You're losing me, Felthas.
It's game one.
It's game one. So, let's break this fight down. Raptor smites have been impeccable. Lucid's too early. They do get that, but Shio is going unchecked in this fight. Aiming doesn't actually... I thought Diablo was going to maybe get his way out there. He doesn't. Still gets, even after the flash, taken down, and all the damage is available. So, DK have a great play. Now, what the hell happened here? I need to know, because this part I got. Okay, Barrel,
I think they got rooted by Nico. Yeah, right here. So it was just like, well...
But then after that, just leave.
Well, they were already
Showmaker,
too low.
I think Showmaker could have probably maybe left.
Maybe.
I don't know. They got Soul. Gold doesn't matter in this game. We're going to get Elder Flip, presumably.
Yeah.
Which, hey, Elder Flip is going to...
Also hide on bush.
It's like, I'd say favored towards B&K.
Oh.
Because B&K is the one that has been winning the flips. I do, again, worry about Ambassador Rise with Soul. That is a big problem. And hey, the Rebel Baron probably, thanks to that play in mid, not going to be negative after all, Valdez.
They're catching up in gold, too.
Yeah.
They're getting some gold in the side lane. You know, they get that inner turret. They're trying to hide on bush.
Executioners is done. We're buying ward stones now. Good on you, Kellen.
Nice.
A complete toss-up. No idea.
No clue.
GA's done. You know, Clear kind of stalled. I do really like the Morellos. I think that's a good buy.
B&K have Otacon.
Yeah, they do.
DK have the Ocean Soul, but
I think, yeah, Ocean Soul to me,
I think
it's okay.
Could be pretty good, but I
given
kind of favor B&K.
Given how B&K play their fights, I just don't know how much it'll matter. If it's one of those, it's not a 5v5, but it's a 2v2 versus 1, then I think it's good. And you know what? I would have thought B&K would be clean, but at this point,
no,
no,
no.
This is what I was saying at the top of the day. Aren't you just sad? This is the last Rise matchup we get the whole year.
Yeah, it is. It's really sad.
Like that's upsetting.
That's the end of the Rise group after
And the LCK.
I mean, we'll still have one team from Rise group.
I know, but it's not. It's not.
Moving on in the gauntlet.
They still have a chance. Imagine if Rise group wins LCK Valdez. Imagine the scenes.
Then we'll really have the true, full answer to which group it was better to be a part of.
Conversation that has been
spans the course of time, eons.
Yes.
It's been quite a while. We've been having this discussion.
Is someone just gonna walk in and die? I kind of expect Barrel to like take a portal and just be stuck in the pit and have to flash.
He almost missed.
No, I know. And then he just has to flash. It's like, well, okay.
But it's okay, he's just baiting.
Yeah, maybe.
The bottom lane is kind of in shambles for B&K. At least they got their inhibitor back.
So GA is also done for aiming now, which is good.
Yeah.
Because he has been really struggling to stay alive in these fights. GA isn't done yet for Diablo, who I can't really say he's been struggling to stay alive because I feel like that's not his. It's not really his priority.
Yeah, he's just kind of going the way Diablo normally goes.
So both teams are going to be looking to, I think in the case of B&K, try to layer as much of their CC onto any targets, really, and just make sure you blow them up. Whereas DK want to kind of try and accept the initial burst and then drag out the fight. They definitely don't want to fight in jungle. They might just pull the trigger here. Wouldn't surprise me. The bigger and wider open the spaces that they fight in, the better. The pick potential for DK is pretty good with the barrel ultimate, but no one's playing sidelines at this point, so I don't know how much that really matters. Real. So contesting vision is pretty easy for both teams. Lucid has his flag. Nico has obviously the clone that she can send out. There isn't really frontline, so everyone does just kind of die. But side laning is better for DK. I don't know if that'll matter, but that's what they're trying to play towards right now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kellen just trying to force something to start, as that is going to be a missed ult and make it two. D plus Kia really reaching, it feels like, very far down the lane to try to make the play happen.
A little bit of damage.
Yeah. It's going to be poked out. Showmaker still here in the side lane. B&K don't seem to have a good answer to this.
Okay, they will have vision of Raptor. He TP's back as well. That's definitely quite early. And that's also TP gone. He does have Realm Warp available. Kind of expect B&K to just start this up now?
Yeah, probably should.
Minions are hitting the inhib.
Yeah. Not important for B&K.
Okay, there's a TP. This might be it.
Coming in from Shio, but the engage is onto aiming. They're going to zone him away, but they use quite a lot. Flash and Equalizer and Tibbers. And so they have to pull off of the Baron.
Still to GAs. She was behind them.
Elder about to spawn here in 20 seconds. They're going to find Shio on the backside, but it's only Clear that can do anything to him.
Inhib's down.
They just let it go. They're like, no, we didn't want that anyway.
Well, you kind of do, though.
Nah. They had two TPs, and they're like, you know what?
But this is
why save our inhibitor?
I think this is still favorable for B&K. Aiming doesn't have flash. Useless cleanse as well. Yes, you lose the inhib, but you do still have TPs available. It's okay. It's gonna be Elder Flip. It's gonna be Elder Flip.
Snow Flash Tibbers. As
they
they're gonna find Diablo. Can they follow up on it is really the question, as the zoning is there, but Shio is on the back line. Kellen getting pretty low himself, but Shio goes into his GA.
They got Raptor.
They did get Raptor as well, and that is going to be huge. The Flash Exhaust comes in as the kiting will begin, and Vikla doesn't have any help here as the front line just disappears. Shio's still doing a ton of damage. And Diablo just by himself gets flashed on by the Jarvan. And that will be the end of this game. Just a weird fight in the mid lane. No objectives taken. And DK We'll take it eventually.
And like a good thriller, when you think you know what's about to happen, it takes a left turn. We thought we were gonna get an Elder flip. We thought it was gonna be an objective fight. No, they just kind of fight each other, and DK somehow get a clean ace, and DK game 1 strikes again. And I don't feel like that's a good representation of the game.
Very convincing fashion
But I
here
don't
for
really
DK.
have another way of talking about it, Valdez.
The Zambessa here for Shiyu just ended up being so gigantic in the late game and comes back to their comp. You know, we've seen other Yunara comps fall flat when it's only Yunara and they just try to protect her, but they had Ryze, they had Yunara, and they had Ambessa. And eventually one of those carries was going to be able to do something in the late game. Even if Aiming didn't have a flashy Yunara performance and got bullied a lot, they just had Shiyu to clean up.
And in the end, it's Beryl that finds the catch. That starts off the fight.
Yeah.
Oh, 5 of these, please.
It's always Beryl, isn't it? He's
In one way or
inevitable.
another.
Yep. It all comes back to Beryl, the LoL master. Most damage goes to Clear, second to Vikla. And still not able to get the win. Doesn't quite matter. I mean, there was a lot of taking damage from them. As I feel like both of these teams have so much to go over after that game 1. Lots of tape to dig into. We're going to take a break and have the space. We'll be right back.
애니가 없다. 나 살려볼게. 애니 없어. 약간
그렇게 갈게 섞였어.
나 키아나. 그렇게. 야, 우리 니꺼 먼저, 니꺼.
키아나 누구? 키아나 노공이야 하나면. 키아나 봐봐. 키아나.
살짝 가. 이겼어, 여기. 밀어내도 돼.
야 노플인데 애니. 관문 열어줄 수 있나?
천천히.
좋은 거 같아.
애니. 하나 미카엘, 못 봐주겠다. 미안하다. 애니 잡았나?
야 뚜껑 대시야 와봐.
애니 잡았어.
와봐.
끝났어. 얘들아, 끝났어.